Hello, voters of House District 10. This is Bill DiOrio. I am calling from an undisclosed location in North Boulder, and I wanted to finish up, just give a statement, my closing statement on the election, and give you some thoughts about the campaign and what we should be looking forward to in the future. And so I wanted to read a statement that I wrote up the day, maybe the day after the election, and I sent it to the local press. I don't know if anyone has published it or not. I can just tell you that the Daily Camera is a lot less interested in any type of real political discussion or dialogue. And I think it has something to do with when they got purchased by Prairie Mountain Media, which also owns the Denver Post and the Longmont Times-Call. They're just really just not interested in a real political discourse as far as I'm concerned. This is something I think in terms of antitrust things that the federal government, the new Department of Justice, and the Trade Commission should look into, breaking up these media conglomerates that have totally occupied the traditional media spaces and turned them into mouthpieces. So anyway, let me just read to you what I wrote. You can decide for yourself what you think. It says, you can't see it, my picture's in the way, but it says, Boulder stays woke, a guest opinion by William DiOrio. And it says, if my candidacy is a gauge, then Boulder has remained firmly committed to the woke Marxist agenda. In 2022, I got around 3,300 or 14% of the vote. And in 2024, I received now, the updated number here is actually in 2024, I received 6,280 votes, which is 16% of the vote. So I did a little bit better in 2024 than I did in 2022. And my opponent, Junie Joseph, got 33,818 votes. Well, she got 84% of the votes. And the interesting thing is that during the campaign, I spent only $56.70 the entire campaign. I was determined I was not going to spend money on this campaign. I tried to operate a social media campaign, and I sent out a lot of text messages, but that I did by hand, personally by hand. I did not use a service to do it, and I just strictly worked off of the publicly available free voter list that I got from Boulder County that has hundreds and hundreds of cell-phone numbers in it. So that's how I did it. But my Junie spent an incredible $126,711 on her campaign. And so that was to garner the 33,818 votes. And so if you express this in terms of votes per dollar, I was a clear winner on that. I got approximately 79 or maybe 80 votes per dollar, as opposed to Junie, who got less than one. She got 0.22 or maybe 0.25 votes per dollar. So I can console myself knowing that on a votes per dollar basis, I was the clear winner of this campaign. Unfortunately, the elections are not determined on that basis. They're determined on the total number of votes, and I was the clear loser. So somewhere between 84% of the voters in Boulder County just did not align themselves with the principles that I set out, and they preferred the democratic socialist agenda promoted by my opponent. And I've gone, if you look at some of the other videos on my YouTube channel, you'll see what I'm talking about, especially the one that says, I think Junie Joseph is a hardcore Marxist. That's one of the ones. And the other one is Junie on the issues. I outline going through her campaign literature, where she stands on these issues. So my campaign was based on 6 principles. And these are issues that I promised to support and promote if I was elected to the State House. The first was limiting overreach by the state, as exemplified during the COVID crisis of 2020. To me, that's a clear example of the way the state should not behave if they're really interested in protecting the interests of the citizens. The second was enhancing the physical security of the citizens through law enforcement and the right to self-defense. The third was getting state expenditures under control. And, the state budget is so enormous, and over half of it is funded by the money from the federal government. And I believe that whole fiat currency debt-based system is very close to collapsing, and we need to think how we can get by without it. And then the fourth is keeping land use decisions at the local level, as opposed to the Democrats want to absorb all the power to zone and make land use decisions up to the state level, which to me that's just the wrong thing to do. And then the fifth was basing our energy system on advanced nuclear energy, as opposed to the hundreds of square miles of land that we're dedicating to windmills and solar farms, which the only reason these things even are out there is because of tax subsidies and credits. If they had to make it on their own, based on the true economic costs of service, they would not be out there. And finally, my last principle was protecting our families and children from the woke socialist agenda. And that's everything from boys in girls sports, transgenderism, promotion of the LGBT agenda, you name it. So my opponent favored the opposite positions in all 6 categories, including unrestricted publicly funded abortions, state control of zoning and land use, elimination of cash bail, gender-affirming health care for children, housing males in female dormitories and state youth services facilities, and the elimination of Tabor as an unwanted obstacle to state spending. These are all the linchpins of the woke agenda. So all efforts to bring this to the attention of voters were obstructed. Giugni refused to debate, and most papers, including the Daily Camera, refused to print guest opinions or letters on these issues. So most voters were really unaware of Giugni's membership in the Democratic Socialists of America and of their political program. And again, there's a video on my YouTube channel that lays out really how insidious this platform really is. I always say, I don't know how anyone can belong to the Democratic Socialists of America and serve in the state legislature, because your oath of office says you're going to defend the U.S. Constitution, but the whole premise of the Democratic Socialists is to overthrow the Constitution and replace it with the new socialist order. So I don't see how that's even possible. But I'm singing, I'm in an echo chamber. I'm like, when I say that, nobody really is very caught on to that. So they say the DSA program is anti-God, anti-worker, anti-child, anti-citizen, and plain anti-social. And again, I explain this in my shadow banned YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/@Bill4HD. So I urge all citizens of HD10 to pay careful attention to what the state legislature comes up with in the coming session. I will be looking to see what bills Giugni submits for consideration. I expect more bills in support of the gay agenda, takeover of zoning, illegal immigration, decriminalization, drag queen story hours, gender transition for children, state spending for social justice, the DEI program, that's diversity, equity, inclusivity, and programs to prevent the Earth's climate from changing, like forbidding natural gas use in homes and gasoline lawnmowers. These are just a few of the things to watch for. And I think during what we should be doing during this upcoming session is really tracking these bills and laying them out in public. And I will try to do this on my channel. And there's others such as Brendan Works up in Longmont that are also doing a good job on this. And we really need to pay attention. So in conclusion, there are only two possibilities in governing. One is that the universe created itself and has always been there. Humans either arose out of the primordial soup and represent the divine spark of nature emerging through natural selection of random mutations, or the universe was created in the beginning by an eternal being who infused it with the genius of natural law and to whom we owe our existence and loyalty. The first case is the one promoted by the woke agenda, which considers man to be the sole arbiter of what is true and beautiful. And the second is the Judeo-Christian position, which puts God at the center of the universe and man somewhat lower on the hierarchy of being. It is my belief that any government which makes the popular vote the supreme method for what to allow and what to bar is on the path to destruction. I look at what unrestrained democracy has brought us in Colorado, from no-fault divorce to the day of birth abortions, now enshrined in the state constitution. We have gone from bad to worse in this, and I fear it will not turn out well. As I said during the campaign, it is time for Colorado to be awake and not woke. So there you go. There's my statement, folks. And I hope that we can build on the success that the kind of the populist and Republican form of government advocates have had overwhelmingly in the national agenda, the national arena, and we can hold the line here in Colorado until people start waking up some more. So thanks very much, and please let me know what you think of this. My email is Bill WBDiorio@gmail.com. So thanks a lot. God bless.